Hey Ronnie, how are you? Hey buddy, how you doing?
Plug in the site, right?
Say it again. I couldn't hear you.
Yeah. It's like I was going, I'm looking, I got plugged in my phone. So good to see you.
Yeah, it's lovely to see you too.
Yeah.
Oh, looks
Brian,
like you can just join this link before I start it.
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
Brian's gonna run the show today. Um,
I mean, I'm gonna
uh,
sure try. Internet
yeah,
is
he's got bad weather, so I'm here in backup if necessary. All right,
cool.
I'm
Appreciate it,
here if you
man.
need me. Brian, I'm pretty sure William. I'm not sure how to say your last name, man. I apologize. Cortez.
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 Yeah, Cortez. Just like there's no H.
Nice, Cortez. Yeah, so he spoke with Jen today. I believe that he's going to come out to POD Live, which is pretty dope. So would love to meet you in person,
Nice.
William. That'd be really cool.
Cool. Get out of this little Zoom box we're in all day.
Yep, gonna be in person. William, is that gonna happen?
I believe so.
Woohoo! Awesome. Well, we really hope to see you there. Brian, make sure that you tell them about yesterday's
Yeah, I
announcement.
will. I'll wait till we get more people on and we're a little
I'm
more
here if you need me. All right.
Cool,
I'm
man.
here.
Yeah, you
Yeah, I
go
was
ahead
on.
and
I was on yesterday too.
Thank you for being there. Appreciate that.
Cool. Love it.
So was I.
Thank you,
Good.
Eric.
It was hard to keep. It's hard to keep track in Zoom when there's more than like 20 people. Like,
Impossible.
a little
That's
unwieldy.
impossible. How do you say your last name? Is it Yalen? Yalen.
Yep. Yalen.
Nice.
So-
Mr. Yalen, are you going to join us in Tampa?
No, I'm the one who posted yesterday that I can't go because I'm taking care of my mother who's in hospice care.
Praying for you, man, and sending you lots of love and hope you have good memories to share together. That's the most important.
Yeah, guys,
Yeah.
let me ask a quick question, just to base what he was. I don't travel because my wife has Lyme disease and she has an incredibly compromised immune system. So I've stepped out of real estate and everything else. That's why I'm doing this, because I literally put her in the hospital 3 times last year from listing appointments, right? I didn't know I didn't know they had anything. So like him, it's like that's where the chance is. So this conference sounds awesome. How do we get access to it from another point of view?
Got it.
Um,
We're discussing possibly a virtual option. We're not quite there yet. We'll come back to everyone with a full-on announcement if and when we actually do that.
Ronnie, the transparent answer, just for clarity, right, is if you come out and make an announcement yesterday, right, of hey, we're going to do it virtual, well, then everyone's just going to choose virtual because they don't want to step out and do it. So it's like it kind of becomes a little bit challenging, you know. So, but what I'm going to do is I'll write your and Eric's name down as a potential virtual so that we have it as a maybe, and then I'll come back to you and let you know. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah, and I think you building on top of that, the beauty of, and I was just sharing this with a client literally like not even an hour and a half ago. We live in a world where now we can make money on the internet, right? It can be easier when you go out in person and do some things, but a lot of it we can do online. We can do on a computer. We can generate leads. We can close deals. We can deliver value to our clients and earn a lot of money. We can do that with a computer. It's a pretty amazing time where some people on this call, like Alex, you were saying, I think on last night's Scale 7 call, some of our clients were in a place before that was an option, right? Where your options were direct mail, catalogs, door to door. So we're in a world where it's pretty amazing and you can make a lot of money online. And that's what we're here to coach you through today. I do see some faces and some very familiar faces. So just kind of a recap of what we do on this call. Extendedly and beyond have brought Alex and myself into the community just to provide value and coach you guys specifically on client acquisition. So how to get more leads and how to close more deals. And also we're pretty well-rounded. We run a $2 million a year coaching program for marketing agencies and SaaSpreneurs. We help over 50 agency owners and SaaSpreneurs at any given time in our community at a high touch one-to-one capacity. So we've done this a lot. We've made a lot of millionaires. We've made a lot of multi-million-dollar agencies and helped a lot of people grow. So what we're going to do on today's call is I like open Q&A, frankly. I like a lot of just seeing where you guys are at, kind of getting a feel from the room. I'm going to do it in a slightly different format today, something I'm borrowing from one of our coaches in the program that I really like. Because we have a smaller crew, I really just want to go around the horn and see what everyone is here to learn or what you're kind of hoping to get away from this call so I can make sure I deliver that to you. If you are just here to learn, listen, hang out, that is a totally fine answer. You're more than welcome to do that. I would encourage you to bring me some info or some questions and things you're struggling with, because again, people pay a lot of money to work with us in our high mentorship program. We're doing this for free in this community. We're not doing it for free. The community's funding the bill. You guys are getting benefit for free though, so use it, right? Cool. That being said, I'm going to go around my Brady Bunch box.
Go live in the group, Brian.
Thank you for the reminder, sir. Yeah, I'm also juggling spotty power and internet in the middle of the storm. So Alex is going to kind of play backup quarterback if I have to go offline. So I'm going to get us live.
Big shout out to Mr. Jones here for stepping up first. I love it.
Cool. I don't have Zoom up, so I can't see what you're talking about, but I'm going to get us live and then we'll get started. Cool. Give me a moment, fam. And I'm going to get
your DM as well, Brian.
Cool. I shall. I'm going to get us live. It was funny yesterday with so many people joining the announcement that we did. The Zoom has that little kind of cute doorbell button sound that goes off. I don't know if it's just for the hosts or if everyone else can hear it, but man, that thing was like, just kept firing and firing every like 10 seconds. It was pretty funny. It was like people just walking through that door. It's like a business where you walk through the door and it makes that ding sound. So it was kind of fun. All right, we are going to go live in 3, 2, 1. Meeting is being live streamed. It's taking just a smidge longer. All right, cool. We are good. We're live, everybody. I know it's pretty much the same people that were here just a few minutes ago, but we'll make the announcement now since we're live on Facebook. If you did not see it yesterday in this Facebook group, the Extendedly group made an announcement for POD Live, which we're hosting in Tampa, Florida, September 7th, 8th, and 9th. We have in that live stream a coupon code where you can get $200 off your ticket, and you're more than welcome to have that. So go check it out. Definitely worth hanging out in person if you guys can make it. I know we're getting close to the date, but definitely something you guys should come check out. And we give you all the reasons why in yesterday's workshop. I'm not going to go through it today.
Literally the first Extendly event. Don't miss it. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Yep. Extendly is co-hosting this event with us. We're very grateful for their generosity and being a participant. So let's get into today's conversation specifically. I already see Sean has got his hand raised. Sounds like he wants to get into it. Sean, I want to hear from you what you're hoping to get out of this call, and then I'll kind of go around the horn and I'll jump back to you. Cool?
Okay, perfect. First of all, yesterday was awesome. I was on that call and I'm definitely going to be there in attendance. Off of this call, what I would like to know is I just got on board with Extendly 4 days ago now. And so for me, what I'm trying to figure out is kind of streamlining that whole process of, like, for instance, I have 3 new clients just looking to, come on board next week. And it's kind of like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to be trying to figure out all these ways to get them kind of into the system. So just streamlining that process to make it so much easier. I did get the Extendly has like a basic snapshot. Sure. And I'll be using that initially with kind of like the steps that you have to kind of sign up with. But I'm just wondering, in terms of your experiences, is there a fast way to kind of get that streamlined? I do have a VA. I'd like to be able to offload that to them to, hey, here's a new client and this is the process. And it's just, just want to be able to streamline that. So I just want to kind of learn, how to get us client up and running as quickly as possible.
Cool. 1000% something we can get into. Just as like a quick note on this, Extendly does offer a service, and please don't quote me on all the details. We are third-party coaches here in this community that does onboarding. I believe it's something like $200 per client.
$299, I think it is.
What's that?
$299.
Okay, so 300. See, I got it. I got the people here to hold me accountable and keep me honest. So $299 per client, but I would pass these expenses through to your client, right? Like I wouldn't be probably trying to make up money on the front end, so on the setup fee, maybe a little bit. Yes. But if Extendly is going to do it for $300, charge a client that $300, get it set up. They're in the system. You don't even have to think about it. You don't have to hire a VA or like understand the process and then train a VA. I want as much as possible fulfillment to be off your plate. So that's like a quick Band-Aid solution, but I'm absolutely have more ideas and I can get into that for you on this call as well.
Thank you.
You got it. Ronnie, what would you like to get out of today's call?
Yeah, quick question on what you just said. So I came in under the ultimate SaaS in a box, right? Great little setup, looking for it.
Nice. We're
My
actually talking about
understanding-
next week to work with us in POD, but that's a side story. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah. My understanding was that my client onboarding, setting them up and taking them through it and doing it for them was $99 a month, not $299 a month, or a person, not a month, but per person. So I'm just clarity on that. But here's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the marketing. Now that I'm set up and I'm ready to launch this thing, what am I doing to market this to drive business? Because you guys talk about how fast everybody comes up. Because I've got a lot of background in it. I come out of real estate, I come out of mortgages, I come out of financial services. Those are my niches. That's really what I'm looking for at this moment. Because at this point, I just want to start selling and just start, and I'll make my mistakes and learn as I go.
Yep. Love that mindset. I got you 100%. And I'll get some more context when I circle back to you on where you're at, like what the offer is. How to market it once set up. Cool. I got you, sir. And yeah, guys, again, I really apologize. Don't quote me on Extendly's exact offers. I know there is a variety of them. And I actually had a client last night who was, he was confused even about like if there was onboarding included in that. Go talk to whoever the rep is you guys have for Extendly. They will take care of you. They're very customer success driven. Just ask their questions there and they'll take care of you, and I'll help you with everything else I can here. Cool. Eric, hit me. What do you want to learn today, sir?
Well, I started out as a sub account with sub accounts,
Okay.
and they kind of said, we're changing our program, and so we're gonna cut you from, have you kick you out of the nest, and you got to go on your own.
Right.
So it's kind of
the offers
thrust
have also
into
been
that.
changing based on how they see delivering to clients as well. So
Yeah, because originally I really didn't want to be a digital agency. I wanted to basically bring them the clients and then let them do the back end stuff and do a 50-50 split. I was more than happy taking less revenue it's just like hiring a VA in a sense. So but they cut me loose, and so I started up end of March, and I've already acquired some very big clients.
good for you.
Who will, just by the nature of those clients, can lead to hundreds of other clients. So right now I'm trying to slow down to speed up and make sure I have the right foundation of everything I want to do in place before we actually start marketing. Any ideas on how to do that more effectively and what
Cool.
should be necessary would be helpful.
Yep, got you. So I would love, and if you're open to it, just in the theme of, what we run, mastermind, learning from each other. I know people on this call, when they hear people say things like that, like, wow, how do I do that too? So if you're open to it, Eric, where did you find some of these big clients? Were they past connections, past people you had met in a different lifetime? Like where did they come from, if you're open to sharing?
I've had, over the years, I've always been a decent connector and have had good relationships. So
Good. Earned then.
Yeah. So one of the relationships that started out, a guy named Bill Walsh, who teaches entrepreneurship. He's one of the top 5 entrepreneur coaches in the world, supposedly.
Based on who's ranking. I want to see the rank. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Well, based on the people that he works with.
I'm just
super well
being
connected.
It's for fun.
That led to an opportunity, just because, again, other relationships. He was going to be going to Dubai. I could help him maybe market in Dubai. That started the relationship. That led to now I am working with a company that he's affiliated with. It's not his, but the founder is the former executive vice president of development for 18 years with Tony Robbins.
Nice. Okay, cool. So just earned connections through your time in the space. Love it.
Yep.
And it's so powerful, guys, right? Because I so often, and on this call too, what's up, Nick? Thanks for joining us.
How's it going?
Get asked the question, like, what industry should I focus on? What niche should I pursue? And the answer is always, well, it depends. Where do you have the best connections? Where are you in a place where you can find people who like you, know you, and trust you? That's always going to cut the gap significantly. It's like if your parents are both dentists and you're like wanting to go off on some quagmire and chase down, I'm just going to make something random, like plumbing, like why not take advantage of the opportunities you have, the low-hanging fruit that are already in front of you? So love that. And I also just we have a person in the community who I will not share the name of, but who just actually recently started a new agency in the past 3 months, has already gotten it to the 6 figures, so $100,000 a month run rate. And I was selfishly asking, like, how did you do this? Like, what was like the key? Like, I want to be able to share this with other clients. Exactly what you said, Eric. It's like, well, networking in the space that I have been in over the last couple of years pays dividends, right? And so, guys, get integrated and involved in the communities you want to serve. The people who have the financial freedom to travel and attend and time freedom to travel and attend events, meetups, etc., are always going to typically be at the top upper echelon of their industry. And people are super cool and nice in person. It's crazy how much more open they are. So even if it's not POD live in September, going to and participating in online and offline events for the community you want to be in and serve will pay dividends long term. Cool. Thank you, Eric. I got you. I will go into that a little later. William, you were here as well, sir, today. What are you hoping for me to break down and get into? You're muted, by the way. I play that game all day.
Sorry about that.
You're good.
Earlier today, I talked to Jennifer about attending, the program, just to find out a little bit more about it and to see if this would be something that your program would be something that I would want to do now, or probably hold off. And we agreed we need to hold off for a little bit, because I'm just starting out. I owned insurance agencies.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, so
so you're really just trying to get the revenue through the door initially to kind of.
I'm just trying to get it rolling. Cool. So
good. This all falls
probably the most important thing I'm doing is just to get some ideas face to face. I've always done stuff face to face. I traveled all over. I was licensed in every state in the United States and did a lot of group health insurance for groups of 500 to 10,000. So you still can't do that over online.
And I think that some of the old ways, air quotes, old ways of doing things are still the best ways. Like if you cut your teeth doing in-person networking, leverage that, right? Like leverage the connections you already had, like we were just saying, to be able to get on phone calls or meet up in person if you prefer that. Phone calls are obviously a little easier to do many in a row, but see where you can, based on your current network, leverage people who either currently are interested in potentially paying you or can refer you to sources where you can find those people, right? I talk a lot about the concept of phishing on these calls, and especially as SaaSpreneurs, when you're selling not necessarily high ticket, but something in the neighborhood of $200, $300, $500 a month, you want to sell one to many. You want to identify the metaphoric pawns of your community, what groups, associations, masterminds, online, offline, and whatever the thing is that your people congregate at. How can you get involved? It could be as simple as doing a free training where you show them some value, you talk to people like we're doing here. Could be as complex as sponsoring, not complex, but could be sponsoring an event, paying money and getting a booth and going and actually attending. So there's a spectrum here, but getting involved and finding those pawns is going to pay dividends. And to you specifically, William, because of the connections that you have, I would be going to them and not necessarily looking to sell that individual. If it came up, cool, great, let's have the conversation. I'd really be looking into, what groups are you a part of? Which people do you know who are worth exploring and talking to? So really leverage these old school connections you have to create new opportunities for your new offer. But we'll get into all this a little more. I'm going to keep going around the horn real quick. Sure. So new people hopped on here as we did this. So I'm just going to go by my Brady Bunch boxes. Nick, you're my next one. What are you here today hoping to learn? If you're just here to hang out and listen, that's totally cool. I'm just kind of going around the horn, seeing what people are wanting to get out of the call.
Well, it's kind of funny that you guys were just talking about, when I jumped on, you're talking about what market to focus on. And, I'm kind of right there. I'm like, oh man, it's like that's a sore spot, because like, I'm really into real estate. But I am also really into construction. And I came from I've been doing that since 2016. I've been doing construction a little bit longer than that, but real estate full time since 2016. And then before that, I did 13 years in a different industry. Yeah. But yeah, I'm just like ready to lean in and focus on one or the other. And I'm just not real sure where I'm going to get the biggest bang for my buck. I mean, what do you think? I mean, you think construction or you think
Yeah,
real estate?
I like this question. I
don't know.
I got you, man. I got you. I like this one. This is a quick answer, and we can go in more depth on the call a little bit here. But this is the advice I always give. I want you to pick a direction to go in, but you're not going to marry it, right? So I want you to date a niche that feels right for you to head in that direction, but you don't have to say, okay, I'm going to go in the construction direction. That doesn't mean if after a couple of months, you're like, wait a second, like I actually had this weird referral to a real estate agent that opened up this big network, or wait, this construction guy just actually introduced me to a real estate lawyer or someone who does estate planning. And wow, this door opened up to the lawyer space, right? Like you kind of have to step into the metaphoric forest with a direction, not knowing which door or path you're going to take quite yet. That door or path will be revealed by just going in a direction, right? A lot of our clients fall ass backwards into the industry they serve because they just, through doing stuff, working with people, testing, trying different things, hey, we found a vein or a lane here, let's go stick in it and stay with this. So to me, it's like you need to look at within both real estate and construction, what are your best opportunities, explore both, whatever turns up to be the best, like, hey, I have a whole group of people here, I've got some referrals here, this is interesting, cool, that is the indicator to we should go in this direction. Now, what I will say about real estate and its current state, and I've been in the marketing game for probably 10 years now, so I've seen real estate agents and agencies ride the real estate roller coaster. Right now, there's limited inventory, right? So you can't do anything as a marketer to build more homes or create more inventory. I hear a lot of real estate agents getting out of the game right now. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't real estate agents who are doing well, who can afford to pay for advertising, but the industry as a whole, as a marketing agency, is hard to be in right now because a lot of people are getting antsy and they're tightening up their ad budgets, right? And again, like a lot of us here talking about
a lot of people aren't buying.
Yeah, and a lot of people here are selling a SaaS kind of offer. It's not just done, it's not a marketing service technically where you're like going to get leads for someone. So if you're just selling the SaaS component, but there isn't a lot of leads to begin with, or even if you were doing the lead gen thing, but there aren't a lot of leads to get because people aren't really buying, interest rates are high, low inventory. It's a lot of factors that are outside of your control as the marketer that make it a difficult space to be in. So typically what we coach is don't get into real estate unless you already have a good connection that can open a lot of doors. You sound like you've been in the space for a while. So if you have that, great. But home building and construction in general, again, construction's pretty all encompassing. I'd probably try and get more focused in. But construction is always happening. Homes need to be built right now. Like it's high ticket industry. And I think there's a lot of money to be made in there. An important consideration, though, I mentioned earlier, the person who I will not name their name, but built basically a 6-figure a month agency in over a couple of months. One of his comments was picking an industry where people spend a lot of money. If you were working with a business, let's say a plumber who only serves like a 20-30 mile radius, there's a ceiling to how much money they're going to spend on advertising. Whereas if you're working with a personal injury attorney, or let's say a solar company, their capacity and distance, a radius of who they could serve could be multiple cities. It could be statewide, right? So when you get to these picking a niche, I always want to find industries that have a high customer lifetime value, meaning their end customer pays them a lot of money. Plumbing is okay, right? Like not amazing. Restoration, like water damage, fire damage, mold damage, they make good money. They've made like $10,000 on one visit in a few hours to rip someone's basement apart. I've had to go through that. I don't recommend it, but it's a good business. And if you can get that person just a couple of clients, it pays for your services for months, right? Real estate is similar, but again, there's too many variables, in my opinion, in real estate right now that make it a difficult space to be in unless you're already well connected. So a little bit of a long-winded way of answering that question, Nick, but hopefully gave you some things to think on. And we can kind of unpackage that a little more here.
About the money, about people who are doing a lot of big jobs, a lot of money, then that's That's probably a good, and you said restoration, because that's definitely one. What else? A solar, that's a good one.
Well, solar's pretty good. It's competitive in the solar space, but not, you know, we have this mindset of like people think like, oh, this industry is saturated. And it's crazy. For every, like, there was a stat for every 200,000 small businesses in America, there's one agency. And maybe now as who's a good looking young kid, Ian something, he's got a big YouTube channel. He just rolled out some agency program. Sure, there's more people coming into the space, but like, even if you just had 1,000 clients, which is a percentage of you just being one agency compared to the 200,000 small business owners, that's way more clients than you could ever manage, or you make way more money than you knew what to do with yourself, right? So just an aside on like my thoughts around competition and saturation. Solar is good, roofing's good, water damage restoration is good, windows and siding, anything that's high ticket. But if it's like a plumber and they're charging $150 to $300 a visit, and you want to charge that person $3,000, you have to get them at least 10 jobs just to break even. So the math starts to become very difficult, right? I want to pick an industry that has high value. So I only have to make them a couple of sales to make them a bunch of money to pay for my services indefinitely. My agency, why I believe I found a lot of success early on, was because it was in patio furniture, and people spend ungodly amounts of money on patio furniture. It's crazy, like $20,000, $50,000 on a set of furniture, not talking about grills or heaters or any of the other crazies, fountains that you can buy. So anyways, I'm getting on a rant. I'm going to continue to go around the circle, see what else everyone's looking to learn here. And I like doing this. There's a lot of through lines in the questions you guys are asking. So I know the feedback I'm giving here is going to be helpful around the horn. Heidi, nice to see you again. Nick, sorry, go ahead. Shoot one more time. Hit me.
Okay, regarding the you're saying they can cover your services, or SaaS is just a minimal amount, right? So it's just a small amount per month, but you're talking about tacking on your, I remember you saying in one of our other trainings that you're saying that you want to make sure that we're making at least $1,000 a month.
It depends on the offer, right? If you're in SaaS, it's a volume play. You need a lot more clients to make the same amount of money. Like, again, $2,000 a month Facebook ads client or $200 a month SaaS client. You have to get 10 of those just to make the same amount of money. So and I know we're in the community here of like mostly focused on SaaS, but what we've always coached from day one, and Beyond knows this and backs this up, is we recommend a hybrid, especially if you're in the beginning stages of your journey. Give yourself at least the ability to have a high ticket offer you can sell. So if your client needs it, you can make that money. Because here's the truth. A lot of times in SaaS, you're going to go sell to someone who, cool, all of the things this does can help me, but I also need leads. I'm not getting enough leads. They need the lead flow as well. And if you can be the person who can provide that to them, whether it's in the format of an SEO service, a pay-per-click service, whatever, Facebook ads, Google ads, whatever makes sense for the industry, you can make a lot more money a lot quicker with less clients. Then if truly SaaS is your passion, your goal, like, cool, Brian, like agency, you can make some quick or more money up front, but I really want to do the SaaS thing. Cool. Sell some clients on both high ticket and low ticket. And now you have a runway of cash and time that you can go focus on your passion project, right? So for like just being transparent, like me and my wife's longer term play is using money we earn to buy enough real estate to only work when we want to. So we're using the money from our careers to fuel the passion business that we have, right? It's very similar, right? The agency is a beautiful thing because you can charge thousands of bucks a month. And if you get people clients, they'll keep paying that bill. So I would personally be offering both at the beginning, at least. I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole of don't do your own fulfillment. Like, you need to find a white label marketing agency like Invisible PPC or Agency Elevation. They do the work for you. You just charge the client whatever is going to actually get you decent profit margins. Again, I'm typically looking to try and make at least $1,000 profit on every client I serve in the done for you marketing agency. SaaS is a bit different. So, but yeah, that would be my take there, Nick. I'm going to keep jumping around and we'll jump back to that topic in a moment. Heidi, what are you here today hoping to learn? What can I do for you?
You guys always give out good stuff. So I like learning the scripts and, keep it simple. I like that idea of just targeting one aspect of what HighLevel has to offer and stick with that. So I always like and I like the idea of, hiring out for some high ticket.
Sure.
Invisible PPC, and what was the other one?
So Invisible PPC does Google Ads. Agency Elevation does all of it. They do SEO, Google Ads, Facebook Ads. Their prices are better than Invisible PPC, but I'm gonna be really honest. I don't really have a personal connection with Agency Elevation, so I can feel comfortable saying this. It's a bit of a sausage factory in terms of the feedback I'm getting. And what that means is they'll take on anyone and everyone just as a volume play, and they'll just see if it works. And if it doesn't work, okay, sorry, we tried. Invisible PPC will straight up tell you whether or not this will work with a client, and you can more confidently go make an offer like, hey, here's an average cost per lead. If this is the result they're trying to get, and this is their average close rate, here's a cost per lead and how much they're going to spend. Cool. We can actually reverse engineer now what our clients are wanting to do. But yeah, I really want to find an agency who will tell me no. Like, it sounds crazy, but I want someone to tell me, no, Brian, we won't work with you and this client because we will not get results. Okay, thank you. You just saved me from all of the pain of
a lot of time,
right?
Saved a lot of time.
Exactly. So I want a white label partner who's going to tell me confidently, yes or no, we can serve this space. And then if they can, cool, give me some past results to back that up, and I will go sell those results. So if you don't have results for the niche you want to serve, cool. The white label partner, and again, Invisible PPC does this, will give that to you. And you can use their case studies and flex their clout, their credibility, their team, the fact that they spend millions of dollars a month on fulfillment, like that becomes your fulfillment team, right? So just an aside, but I appreciate you, Heidi. I'm glad you're getting value from these calls. Ronnie, I see you got your hand up there. Hit me.
Yeah. Since I'm partially deaf or really deaf, can somebody in chat box or somewhere, get a list of some of those companies that we can kind of start looking at?
Yeah, of course.
Anybody like that? Anybody like that? It's a white label sales companies. Anything like that would be a tremendous resource.
You guys can ignore my notes. I maybe should have DM'd those to Alex. It's nothing bad. I'm just writing your names down and what you guys wanted to talk about. So I make sure.
I'm just deaf and can't hear what.
No, you're good, man. You're totally good.
Go.
Visible PPC right there. Agency Elevation is right here. And I guess I should have, my second recommendation above Agency Elevation probably should have been Quantum Agency. Quantum Agency just does SEO, but similar vein to Invisible PPC, they're going to be really honest with you, right? They're going to tell you yes or no, this can or cannot work. And will give you some confidence so you're not just promising results that you can't generate for a client. Those are the three that I would recommend. There are other ones. I believe Click Geeks is another platform out there. I would just kind of be talking to multiple ones. And again, the key that I am looking for is a past track record in getting results for the industry that I want to serve. So that's key there, but go ahead and get those links. And then for you, Sean, and then also Eric, I believe. And Eric, you maybe have heard me talk on this before, but Heidi brought up this thing of like keeping it simple, right? And Sean was looking like, how do I streamline this? And Ronnie's like, how do I streamline onboarding and slow down to speed up? It's really, in my opinion on this with selling SaaS, is really try and focus in on one or two, maybe three features that Go High Level offers. The challenge is there are so many features and tools and cool things that you could do, but there's a difference between could you do it and should you do it? And the answer to should you do it is probably no most of the time. And here's the reason. When you try and solve too many things at one time and be everything to everyone, like, sure, it could work for any niche. All these features can work, cool, and they do get different, better results for different industries. Like, it varies, right? But then if you are putting that back on your client to have to use the platform to get the most out of it, it creates confusion, right? And confused clients don't stick around for very long. So what I suggest is you get really clear on the 1, 2, 3, maybe features of Go High Level that will most benefit the industry you want to serve. Again, you can't just pick features and then go, oh, these are going to be the 3. I'm going to sell to everyone. No, what are the things that the people you are serving are asking for? How can we then focus in on those things? I'll give you an example. One of my favorite features of Go High Level is the missed call text back, right? Any brick and mortar business would benefit from that. If they are getting after hours calls or calls where their team is busy or can't pick up, they're losing business on those phone calls. You could easily charge $200, $300, up to $500 a month in some industries for just that one feature. You guys have heard me rant on this before, right? But what I see a lot of people doing is trying to sell every feature to everyone for like $200 a month. And like, why aren't people using it? Because they don't know what the hell they're doing. So get really clear on the 1, 2, 3, maybe 3 max features of Go High Level you will sell to your end user, and then you help them use those things and be successful with those things. That'd be my recommendation. Sean, hit me.
Okay, so and that's really great advice. Here's my thing though, being that I'm pretty new to it, right? Like one, the clients that I'm getting, they don't know what they don't know. They don't know what they need. They don't know what's going to really help them or not. And then on the other end of that, I don't know if I implement let's say the missed call text back. I know it's a good feature and I know it's great in terms of time and communications. But I don't know if, for instance, they're going to be able to look at that and say, oh, okay, well, my bottom line has now increased because I have this new feature for them to want to continue paying. So I'm trying to like think of, so I'm in the boat where I'm one of those people that kind of try to offer everything because I'm throwing it into the wind in a sense.
Which is okay to start with, right? That's an okay place to start. Go ahead.
Yeah, because I'm trying to throw everything out there and say, okay, let me find out which one will work because I don't know which one will work. So I'm just trying to give them everything, which I know is the worst thing because even for me is because I get into the overwhelm of now trying to connect all of these things for them and making all these things work. And it becomes now that's an overwhelm issue. And now I run into another issue, for me. But what it is when I started, I start within a month. So keep this in mind, within in the first 2 months, I was kind of learning the platform. And then when I put out there to a couple of people that I know, immediately in 1 month, I got 8 clients on board. And then I was like slammed. I was overwhelmed because obviously at that point,
trying to do everything for everyone, and they're all using it differently.
Exactly. So the thing is though, at that point though, for me as a starter, my biggest thing was, hey, I need to get money in the door. I need some kind of money. I'm on a SaaS level. $500 a month is not a comfortable place for me. So I need to get money in so I can cover that and make sure things happen. So I got that. And then what stopped me, I'm kind of in a similar place of where Eric, I don't have the big clients that he has or anything like that, but I have about 1.3 million in terms of clean email list that I started building out campaigns for.
Is it a variety of industries though?
Yes, but all people looking for business opportunities and startup businesses and things like that. Sure. But then I pulled back to even run that because I'm saying to myself, what if 1% of this converts? I'll be in problems if I don't have a streamlined process. Yeah. To really carry out these things. So that's, kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. And what you just said on the back end as a reason for not doing every feature for any different client, because everyone uses it differently and it creates a fulfillment nightmare and bottleneck, is it also on the front end creates a selling nightmare because you have to quantify the value of what it does differently to every single person. And if it's every single feature, you don't really know. But when you can, as an example, use this is one of the things we use to get Alex on stage at Go High Level. They've been a sponsor of the community for a long time also, which probably helps. But we leverage this thing and send it to the leaders of Go High Level, giving free value to get them interested in getting Alex on stage at their mastermind in Texas a couple of weeks back. This is basically a GHL missed call text back revenue calculator. And Sean, I'm going to answer your questions in just a minute. I just want to show you guys this. The idea is if we just take one feature of this and we show it in terms of, okay, so for a heating, ventilation, air conditioning business, right? Average client value, let's say is $2,000 for this company. And let's say they miss on average 10 calls a month. They probably miss like 15 to 20, like after hours, on jobs, et cetera. And let's say, I'll make it simple. I'm gonna go back to 10 just to keep the math really easy. Let's say their close rate is 20%. So of those 10 calls they missed, they would have closed 2. That is $4,000 they're leaving on the table. Let's say you were charging even $297, so $300 a month for just this one feature. You can show them That's a 1,300% ROI, right, Sean? So on the front end, it's like, but if you had to go try and sell this to now a real estate agent and then a gym, which really is more like average client value over a year, like it starts to get really hairy and they don't really know what the value is. And even if you do convince them to sign up, their expectations for what it does aren't in alignment, and then they ultimately churn. So again, really trying to get clear on what is the 1 or 2 or 3 features that I can give to the audience I want to serve, that it makes it easy to sell to them because there's a clear value and ROI, and then also makes it easy on the back end to fulfill. So I'm not doing 20 different things for 50 different people. Like it becomes a crazy fulfillment nightmare.
Now,
So
how do I show them, for instance, now, because they may get that, let's say, but then how do I quantify, hey, you got this because I had this in process for you,
question.
opposed to, hey, Sean, we've been in business, so we would have gotten that business anyway.
Yeah, 100%. I love that question. So in Go High Level, and just transparently, this is why we have smart tech people on our team we pay good money to, and not myself to do everything. But I do know in Go High Level, it will show you on the dashboard, if you set it up in this way, what your pipeline currently looks like, right? So which leads are coming in, where they are, what their status is, if they close, et cetera. Now it's on a client to use this, but what our client has done really successfully, Larry, and I'll tell you guys about this in just 1 second. But Sean, what you do is, with the missed call text back feature, just using that one example, there's a different phone number that gets plugged into all of the places their phone number is currently hosted, right? On Google, their website, whatever, Yelp, who cares? As phone calls come in, now all of the phone calls, even ones that aren't missed, are going into Go High Level. So it's starting to not only quantify how many inbound calls they're getting, and you help them track that better, it's quantifying the missed calls and showing you who actually missed, who converted. And what our client Larry does extremely well is, and this is harder to do with SaaS because of the price point, but especially for done for you marketing services, he would meet with clients once a month, and his account manager would go through which deals they have recently closed, and they would match that against the database of people they brought in, right? And a lot of times too, for the missed call text back, it's going to be right there inside of Go High Level. Look, you missed 20 calls last month. We started text conversations with all of them. 5 replied. Did any of these 5 people become a customer? Cool, they did. All right, we're in business. But this is the weird thing about SaaS, where it's kind of a do-it-yourself, a little bit of done with you. It's not really done for you. And so even though the result is shared with you and the client, you're going to get the blame when it doesn't go well, right? So you have to do your best to make sure, if you're truly selling a do-it-yourself or done-with-you platform, they have the ability to constantly see the results. Maybe it's every week or every other week, the system's sending out an automated email, or your team is, to let them know how many missed calls happened, how many responses. So these types of things to constantly remind them of the value, but it's harder to do at lower price points unless they're really bought in and indoctrinated in how to use the software.
Gotcha.
Cool. So let me, and Heidi, I still got you. I see your hand raised, no problem. Let's go all the way back to the beginning of this, Sean, where you were like, they don't really know what they want, right? It's like that classic Henry Ford thing quote, where it's like, if I would have asked people what they want, they would have said faster horses. They didn't know they wanted a car. He had to make one. But what you need to instead do is start with desired states. What is the desired state that the people you want to serve have, right? And again, this is why it's key, in my opinion, to focus in on a space where that's going to be mostly the same thing. 9 out of 10 times it's going to be the same thing. You've had the conversation before and you get it. What is the desired state that they want? And here's what the thing is, they know what they want. They don't always know how to get there, right? If I go back to the Henry Ford example, people knew they wanted to get places faster. They just didn't know how to do it yet. And so your clients know, hey, I want to solve X issue in my business or achieve X result. Almost always, it's more money, more time freedom, better utilization of the team, more money or more time, or saved money and saved time, right? Those are usually what we're selling here. So once you start with a desired end state and you get into a space, okay, now you can reverse engineer, how do I get them there efficiently? And if you aren't clear on this, this is what these calls are for, right? You come learn from and lean on experts in the space you trust. Hey, Brian, I got a group of real estate agents. They're telling me these are their pain points. What would be a good offer around that? I'm more than happy to help you with that on these calls. But we need to start with, what is the desired end state of the industry we want to serve? And then how do we, whether it's Go High Level or something else or marketing service, compile something that gets them there. What so many people start with first, especially in SaaS, is the product. They build the thing that they think is sexy to sell. They build a website, they build all the landing pages and all the features. I'm like, wait, no one actually wants what I'm selling, right? You got to start with what the customers want and then go sell them that. So yeah, I think I actually answered all the questions. I had some here in my notes. I think I got that.
Yes, thank you very much. That does give me a bit of more clarity. I know I have more learning to do because I want to get to the point of just being confident enough when I speak to someone. I mean, I can speak to someone through getting them into the program because I'm learning from the community in terms of just talking to people, but fulfilling. Is I just want to be very confident in fulfilling on them. But thank you very much. I'll just keep on listening.
Man. Yeah, of course. And that's again why we focus in on one space, because you can then sell that confidence you have in getting results for whatever the thing is. So the next person's like, well, I've never worked with a puppy spa. And it's like, I don't know what it's worth to you. So yeah, do yourself a favor and
okay.
All these things are helpful. Okay, cool.
Yes, thank you.
Man. Heidi, hit me, and then we're gonna keep bouncing around. And I have everyone else's questions here, so thank you guys for hanging out.
The question I have is with A2P 10 DLC, it's throwing a monkey wrench in doing any of the automated platforms to person text. So how do we, because it's going to take about a month and a half to get anybody through everything on the best terms.
I'm sorry, can you re-ask the question? I don't know if I caught
Yeah, with this new A2P 10 DLC with Twilio.
Is that restrictions around Twilio?
Yeah, everybody has to become, and I think the first deadline was July 6th or 5th.
I remember hearing
and the
murmurs
second
about this,
one is August 31st. And right now they're supposedly, stopping people and not sending everything through. This is kind of the in-between part.
Okay.
They started it as of the 5th. So how do we get somebody on? And it's going to take a month and a half on the best terms if you do everything right.
Yeah. Great question. And I know enough to know when I don't know something. I see Eric nodding his head very confidently, though. So I'd love his take on this, and we can go.
I've been doing it for several clients. So it's a multi-step process. So the first step is you have to fill out the business profile. Mm-hmm. And you need to make sure that you have, ideally, it would be good if the client gives you a copy of, it's called a CP 575 form. That is the form that the IRS sends with the EIN number. All
of that stuff I've already done it, and I've done it for other people. The problem is it's going to take a month and a half. Anytime.
Yeah, you're not going to, so first step is you got to get that business profile approved. Mm-hmm. Then you have to go through the A2P brand
verification,
and then also the AP2 campaign, which are two separate processes. The brand one is relatively easy because as soon as that business profile is done, that shouldn't take that long. It's the compliance part for the campaign.
Yeah, that's what's 4 to 6 weeks right now.
Well, but a lot of the times where people get the hang up and the speed is the speed, and it's because people didn't pay attention to the first email that went out at the end of May saying the regulations are changing. And so everyone waited till July. And so everyone's just bombarding.
But if we take on a new client right now and we set them up, the best case scenario, if I get them all done and the valid, it's going to take 4 to 6 weeks. That's the best case if no mistakes are made.
Correct.
So how do I present it to a company trying to get them as business?
You just have to tell them that it's out of your control. It's part of it's a new regulation that has been imposed, that it's been adopted by all of the major carriers, the telcos, and it's just a pain point that they have to go through in doing business.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, but if what I'm selling to them is the A2P, then what do you suggest?
Well, what do you mean you're selling them the A2P? That's just a registration process.
Oh, I'm sorry. If I'm signing up to the missed call text back, if that's my one thing that I'm going to be doing for them, then Brian, what do you suggest
Yeah, I have some opinions. Charles is saying he's thinking about 5 to 15 days. So I don't know if there's something you're doing that's different, Charles, that maybe gets yours done faster.
The only thing so we're not doing it for our clients. They're doing it themselves. We're using the Extendly snapshot and the course, one thing that we did do early on, as soon as that course was released, we made a blog post about it. I often, anytime I get a chance, if I find an opportunity to talk about A2P, whether it's online networking or in a Facebook group somewhere or whatever, I throw out that blog post. And I did it from a video that was in the course, on the client course. But we're seeing the biggest thing is when you have clients come on, of course, we use Extendly Onboarding, and they're letting them know. They do the regulatory stuff for our clients during onboarding, but the A2P they're not doing. And they just let them know that, hey, this is already loaded into your account. Here's where you can access. They get immediately when they sign up, they get granted access to that course. So they get an email saying, hey, here's this A2P course, go take it. But on the timeline, I mean, we're seeing 5 to 15 days. The 15 days is really for the ones that are failing. And how we're getting a quick turnaround is we're going back into our new accounts, making sure that they've applied within 1 to 3 days of signing up. Once they've applied, we check every day to see. We just go in, takes 2 seconds, jump into that location, see if their A2P campaign has been approved. If it fails, we immediately open a ticket with support, and we get the feedback from them, and then we relay that feedback to the client. And that way they can address whatever. And if it's something like everything looks good, the brand was approved, maybe they just didn't put something right in the box, we just go back through, correct maybe 1 or 2 things, and hit resubmit. We let support know that we've resubmitted it, and support's been really, I've never been overly impressed with HighLevel support, except when it's come to this A2P.
And I'll say the exact opposite. I've had more problems with support on A2P than anything else I've ever dealt with.
They've been great with us.
That's why Extendly exists, right? That's why Extendly exists, support in addition to.
But we just tell them, this is the, sub account ID. This is the phone number. This is, we, if we have their ID, if the brand wasn't approved, we go ahead and get that tax document, EIN document that Eric was talking about. We get that from the client because we have to send that to support. So it's a little back and forth sometimes, but really we haven't had, and depending on who you're working with, if you're going to like real estate agents, if they don't have an EIN number, if you're going to commission sales professionals, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, you'd be surprised how many of them don't even have an EIN number. And those are getting approved wicked fast because all they have to do basically is a text confirmation.
So the sole proprietor is getting, because I was told it was 4 to 6 weeks, and the people that I've talked to so far haven't gotten theirs back. And it's been. No,
I just had a new, he does network marketing for a lab company, but he got approved in 2 or 3 days.
Recently, since the July.
Yeah, this was just last week. So it just, again, I point everybody to that course. It has everything that they can literally copy and paste into the boxes. All they have to do is swap out the company name, replace Acme with their actual company name. And that's it. We already have the snapshot loaded in. We updated our master snapshots to include the A2P stuff. So that's already in there. And then onboarding is turning on that. They're connecting the subdomain that they set up with our clients. They're setting up that A2P funnel so they know that there is a funnel that has the checkbox that is compliant no matter what. And that way we don't have to worry what's going on with their website, what other stuff they want to do. We know that funnel is compliant and they can use that in the example. So
cool. I'm going to just back us out of the rabbit hole just a little bit. But thank you, Charles and Eric, for the insight. I feel like this is a good time to do a little bit of a mini, just not a rant, but just stick with it for a second. This is where my expertise starts to fall apart a little bit, but that's okay, right? Because again, like I said, we have people on our team we pay very well to deal with these things for us. So this is why I'm a huge advocate of like, some of these things get really complicated really quickly, right? So to me, it's like, let's create revenue through selling high ticket and SaaS, but high ticket services that give us the income to go hire someone to do it for us. So Heidi, you don't have to think about it, right? Like some of the stuff you're saying, you know more about it than I do, right? I've kind of fortunately have been able to take off my tech hat and just give that to someone else because I don't want to have to deal with that stuff. It's complicated. So you asked though me, Heidi, directly what I would be doing with the situation that you are in right now. One,
so instead of just offering the missed call text back, is there some other offer?
Exactly. That's what I'm getting at. So have something else in addition to that you can sell that they can implement right away, right? If we're talking only SaaS, one of the best things is like a database reactivation where you're going to go and email their current lists. But even then, getting their email list and they'll go high level, there's some headaches there, right? But again, we talked earlier, what is the desired end state of the people you want to serve? Then what are the offers that plug in to get them to that result? We have to start with desired end states of what they want, then what offers we can sell to them from there. As an aside, or you can do this and or on top of that, but maybe if you're truly in a place where crap, it is 4 to 6 weeks out, you play a little bit with your pricing structure. I love what Eric is saying, and it's totally true. If there's something that's just an industry standard or it's out of your control, you have to tell people that and be honest and upfront. There's no lying or any white lie or amount of marketing you can do to overcome just shit that you have to deal with, right? Like if you want this thing, you got to do this. If you want to lose weight or get a six pack, you got to spend the time and do this. If you want missed call text back, you got to spend the time and do this, right? But maybe how you do it is charge because there's an unknown time, but we have a rough estimate of 4 weeks to 6 weeks. Maybe you charge more on the front end for the setup, right? Cover yourself for at least 2 months of upfront service costs. So let's say you want to charge $300 a month. Cool. Charge them on the front end for a setup fee. Charge them $500 maybe. So you can kind of, it's in the gray area of, hey, like if it takes 6 weeks, I'm still covered. But if it takes 4 weeks, cool. It's even faster. We got the setup fee. And then once you, and this is in your agreement with them, as soon as whatever approvals need to come in that happen, as soon as that happens, cool. Then your billing cycle starts at $300 a month, right? But your setup fee is padded a little bit for the accounting for the extra time it may take to get them set up. So just a consideration of how you can kind of play with this a little bit.
Is there a second best, like is reputation management, a quick win? Like
it depends on what the industry is, right? Okay. Like, yes, reputation management is probably a good one in second place, but who is it that we're serving? That's going to help me a lot more.
Like contractors. Electricians, plumbers.
Got it.
How about just setting up with Google My Business accounts? I find so many don't even have that.
Yeah. I would say reputation management and Google My Business management for contractors, great first place to start. Database reactivation, getting more from the customers they already have. Again, it depends on the project, right? If it's like emergency plumbing services, you're not going to email your whole list. Hey, you have a broken pipe? Like they're going to let you know when it's broken. But if it's, I'm trying to think of an example of construction that works well. So like general contractors, if my general contractor followed up with me a little bit more often, he'd probably get more money out of me, right? So automated lead follow-up and nurturing, database reactivation, Google listing management, all things could for sure be a little bit of a bridge of a solution to kind of get them to the thing they really want. And again, if you don't want to add on other features, the way I suggested in which you charge more upfront for a setup fee to kind of make up for that gray area of time could be a consideration as well. Like, hey, because of current regulations, it takes 4 to 6 weeks. What we're going to do is charge you $500 setup fee. And once it's done, it could be 4 weeks, could be 6 weeks. We charge you the first month payment. Cool. Love it. All right. So I'm going to go back because a lot of people here did have some questions. I know I covered a lot on this call. So I think I covered a good amount of these, but let me just go back to my notes here. Is Ronnie still here? I think Ronnie had to hop off. Okay, no problem. Eric, I think Eric is still here. We spoke about this a little bit though. Things need to slow down. I can go into that a little deeper if you want as well.
I have to hop off, and
we're all going to hop off here in a second. I think I actually covered all these pretty damn well. So if anyone else feels compelled, they have a question you want to ask, feel free to unmute yourself. Go ahead. I got a couple extra minutes I can spend here. Otherwise, I get to go play property manager and call an apparently upset Airbnb guest we have. This rarely happens, but I love playing hospitality front desk manager for our houses. Okay, go ahead. Anyone want anything else they want to ask me? No rush.
The only thing I was going to throw out there, Yext is another thing that's right inside of HighLevel for locals. If you're dealing with contractors and services, they could definitely benefit from having their business listing correct with all the same information on, up to 70 plus different platforms, local listings. It's just going to help them get more business by getting more phone calls to their office or visits to their website or whatever. And that's just an easy, quick sell on that side. And oftentimes they're already paying for what I found is in those services industries, a lot of them are already paying insane money to services like Yelp for whatever reason. So if you can say, hey, stop wasting your money with that. What if I could get you on Yelp plus 70 other platforms and make sure that you're getting more phone calls, more website traffic, more drive-by traffic, in a matter of just 48 to 72 hours?
Yeah,
about all it takes.
moz.com. They had a listing tool that was really similar in the past. I don't know if they still do it anymore.
Yeah, they do.
They do.
Moz,
Yeah.
Moz local.
Moz,
here it is.
yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Way crazy long link. I think it's just tracking, from Google where I went, but if you want to screw up their data, go ahead and click on that link and, worthwhile checking out. Both are the same idea. And funny sidebar, Charles, on Yelp. It's so tough to compete with their sales team, man. I worked with a lot of agency clients, and end user clients as well in my agency days. And Yelp is ruthless, man. They got a sales call you until you're blue in the face. They don't care if you say don't call. They'll have 5 different people call you. It is crazy. You just got to give them money to stop calling you. Like that's most of what we're paying for, is just so I don't have to hear from you anymore. But anyways, I digress, everyone. Thank you so much for the time. Remember, POD Live, September 7th, 8th, and 9th in Tampa, Florida. I'll grab the link so you guys can grab tickets if you have not yet. And if you can join us, we'd love to see you there. We are co-hosting this event with Extendly. So it's not just us, but Go High Level is sponsoring, Extendly is sponsoring. Got a lot of A players in the building. Going to be a great event. Thank you so much for your time, guys. We'll be back here next week, Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern. Free mastermind every week, guys. Come join us, get value, and appreciate your time so much. I will talk with you all very soon. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.
Want to learn Go High Level in a structured format? Check out the GHLacademy.com by Extendly. We guarantee to save you 6 months of wasted subscription costs for High Level. Just visit the GHLacademy.com.